how have you been able to navigate that in order to be the type of man that you are today?
Women need to be protected and provided for physically, and men need to be protected and provided for emotionally.
Every last one of them said it's only when they became 40 and 41 they recognized they needed some type of sexual discipline.
He said physically you mature and mentally you mature at 25, but he said spiritually you don't mature until you're 40.
So when I got the opportunity for the reps, I was working on personality. So then I guess my personality went to a crazy level, and maybe the looks came into a different play.
The reality, the biology of a man after 25 and testosterone levels and all of that stuff kicks in, how gender and sexuality is sliced up in so many different ways.
This is exclusively dropped on the Boy Man King podcast, man. First time, this is some chill.
They have high levels of narcissistic tendencies. It's all about me.
Yeah.
The woman I select provides protection and provision for me emotionally.
I don't want you to shoot me with the same bullets that I just put on the table.
I'm gonna mess it up for sure. Ego, pride.
WBMK Boy Man King podcast in the building. I got my guy.
What's up, family? It's your main man, Coach Crump here with another great episode of the Boy Man King podcast. And I'm with my main man, co-host Chizzy. Say what's up to the people.
Hey man, what's going on, man? Happy. Welcome to good. I'm happy to be here, man. I'm excited. I'm stumbling over my words already because we were talking offline.
Hey,
So I'm ready. I'm excited. Let's get
Hey,
it. Let's
listen,
do this, man.
listen,
Let's
like
go.
this, we have none other, not only the course king, not only Wall Street's trapper right-hand man, not only an incredible father, leader, entrepreneur, and one of the dopest speakers I ever met in my life, not only the black man with a Spanish name, not only featuring Jose IG, we got none other in the building, Jose Bennett. Welcome to the platform, my good brother.
What is going on, brother? Hey, look, I'm gonna have to get you to do the intros for real.
Everybody
Yeah.
Like cats be reading it off of the bio. I be like, I don't even like bios. Matter of fact, just say Jose. You know
Come
what I'm
on,
saying?
come
So
on,
that's good.
come on.
Killing it,
Listen,
baby.
man, Jose, man, I really want to welcome you, man, because I got so much respect and admiration for you. First and foremost, as a man, we've been able to chop it up, man, grab lunch a couple times, just talk as men in this space. And man, you came to my mind because it was like, I know the conversation we had last year, and I know what you do in the community. I know what you do in the entrepreneurship space, man. Incredible value, but also that manhood. We was having a conversation about parenting. We was having a conversation about dating, about significant others, and you was going out of a situation, now you're going into a situation. And so, man, before we get into that, one of the things of the Boy Man King podcast, we kind of want to go back because a lot of people really don't know the man behind the brand. And we really want to get into that, man. Like 20 years ago, when you first started getting into, what you do in the digital space and what you do as an entrepreneur before you became a father. Talk about what was the journey like for you just as a boy walking into manhood? What was that first experience that you've realized, oh, I gotta be conscious of I'm being a man now or walking into my manhood? What was that moment as an adolescent that you realized that you are a man? And before you even answer that question, let the people know where you're from, where you represent, where it all started as you was walking into your manhood.
Look, Jose, black dude with a Spanish name, aka Jose Cinquentes. Most of the people don't know I come from the music industry, rapped on 3 of Genuine's albums, got a platinum plaque from the DMV, Pinckney County, to be exact. It's funny how you even say that, right? I had a great upbringing. My parents are still married for 43 years. Upward middle class, PG County, great schooling, learned as far as the respect. I say it like this: as far as the framework for being a man, I saw it from my father. He never smoked, never drink, even to this day. He was the embodiment of a Christian walk. Now, of course, I know he had his flaws and things, but what I saw, what I've seen, it was that. Not to go too deep, but I've seen it where my mom would probably say some things or do some things to him, and he just took it, right? And so I noticed in that space, even in therapy, right, a lot of that has shown like, all right, sometimes as a man, we are punching bags. But I bring that up because I came in the music space on tour with Genuine and things of that nature. And because of the level of respect that I had for just the opposite sex and just people in general, I was the good guy on tour.
Yeah.
Good guy.
Come on.
That's when I got to a place where you are tempted over and over again. It reminded me of, if for those who ever, I might be showing my age, but Street Fighter where it had E Honda, and he was like, I'm
Come on.
blocking. I'm blocking all the joints. You know what I'm saying? In every city and in every state and every club, and a couple of them got through.
You know, I was about to say he clipped that one in a little slick. Like a couple of them got through. E Honda must have been on pause. That's probably when the battery died or something.
I love it.
But that's where I was able to hone, because again, I was a homebody. You know, I was quiet. I was to myself. Um, but that's where I got the idea. It was like, okay, bet I'm out here. It's easy access, but where's the level of discipline coming from? Where's that level of, okay, you know what? You will be a gentleman. Where's that level of, you know what? I like to be the oddball. If everybody else is doing this, you know what, Jose, you're going to do this. That's where I really, really got into that space, without going in too deep. But I want us to definitely, we could keep talking more about that. But yeah, that's where I really, really honed that in. Growing up adolescence and then going out on tour as far as with my dog and learning out there, brother. It was, whew, it was good.
I think it's interesting, man, that me, you, and Chizzy all had, even though you have a great example, it's embedded, right, psychologically, like deep in your subconscious. It doesn't change the fact of being tempted. I think what's important to understand, like, I don't care how much you're raised in the church, great father figure at home, great home environment,
Mm-hmm.
there's still the reality of like you being tempted. So as you talk about a couple slip through, you know what I'm saying? Like you know how you try to drop that in on the chizzy. As you talk about the couple slip through ministry, let's talk about like how has that battle been? Because you talked about discipline, and a lot of that is just with our flesh. Like talk about what you had to learn to develop over time. What has the lessons and the seasons of your life taught you about how necessary it is. We were saying earlier, me and Chizzy were sharing about how having knows as a man. What are some things as far as non-negotiables, as far as dealing with lust, dealing with your
Yep.
flesh? Like, how have you been able to navigate that in order to be the type of man that you are today?
Look, first you gotta tell me the rules of engagement. How vulnerable we get? You know what I'm
Come
saying?
on,
Like
we go
I'm an
there.
open book.
It's a new level
I'm
to
an
it.
open
Deep is
book.
deep.
Okay, I just want to make sure because it's funny. I was actually doing a one-on-one mentorship with a gentleman yesterday who going through, and I'll be honest. First and foremost, I really didn't get a hold on it. And when I say a strong hold on it, so I turned 40, 41.
Yeah.
Let me make
Mm,
sure we're clear. This is therapy. This is previous marriages. This is like, I didn't, and I'm big on being self-aware. I didn't get into 40, 41. And what I found out was, and I think, Chris, we had talked about it before, I would allow women to take advantage of me. I would allow, and I was big on not saying no. So I didn't have any boundaries. And the main reason between the ages of 8 and 11, I was molested by 2 different women. And in that space, I didn't know, as you growing up, I'll be honest with you, it was like, yo, we kind of wore it as a badge of honor. I made songs about it. I used to joke about it in school and things of that nature, even to the point where my lady's like, yo, I don't even know why you still friends with that young lady on Facebook because I'll be watching.
Yeah.
mm,
Right? You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, if we're being real, I didn't have like those levels of boundaries. You got to think, I have 5 kids with 4 different women.
Yeah.
Um,
mm,
in regards to the slip ups, in regards to the different things that I had going on throughout this life. I had my first son when I was 21, but it never really stopped. You know what I'm saying? So in regards to getting to that place of discipline, one, truly I had to recognize, and this sounds cliche, but I had to recognize really my self-worth. I had to
mm,
recognize that thing that happened to me between ages 8 and 11 was a bad thing and not something to glorify, not something to make songs about, not something to make jokes about. Because again, if my sons or any of them was going through a similar situation, it ain't fun. So
mm,
that was the biggest thing that I had to, one, release as far as that baggage that I was holding on to. And again, a lot of times we don't even recognize we got that baggage. And again, that comes from um, situations of therapy that comes from. It's funny because my lady, prior to us getting together, she was a close friend I could talk to about relationships with.
Mm.
She was a close friend that I could talk to about, and she helped me get in alignment. So once I got out that relationship, it was like, oh, it made nothing but sense. But you have to be able to have spaces like this. You have to be able to have uncomfortable conversations, not just as far as with your therapist, with your pops, accountability partner, your spouse, but even that small group of other men who have been similar. Where we not going? I always say it like this:
Yes,
women need to be protected and provided for physically, and men need to be protected and provided for emotionally.
for sure.
If we're
Mm.
protected and provided for emotionally, that's what we lose. I didn't get that protection and provision emotionally until, again, like I said, past 40, 41.
Yo, I
Wow.
was watching another port, Dana King, shout out to Kirk Franklin and his team. And it's funny that every man on that cast, so it was Game, it was who else was on there? Um, your boy Cody,
Snoop.
Snoop was on it.
Mm-hmm.
Every last one of them said it's only when they became 40 and 41 they recognized that they needed some type of sexual discipline as a man at
Yep.
Mm.
41 years old. And that's striking to me because it's not a happenstance. And we're talking about men of
Mm-hmm.
different levels, different backgrounds, different instances. Why do we get it? Why at 40, 41 are we getting it? What is it about our 30s? What is it about our 20s? Because to your point, we saw substantial relationships, we saw marriage, we saw all of these things. I came up as a pastor's child. My dad was I was
Mm-hmm.
immersed in church. You know what I mean? So why at 40, 41, you have this light bulb moment that says, over sexualized behavior is something I want to stray away from when I get to my 40s. It's striking. I don't know the answer to the question, to be honest.
I have some insight, and I'll give it back to Jose. Like,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I got a chance to mentor so many people all over the world now, and one dude was from Africa. I want to say Ghana, from his village, and he was like, supporting his wife who wanted to be, an influencer, speaker, whatever. So we at this event. She's introduced me to her husband. He's, he's African, got a little accent to him, and some kind of way she told him what I do in the men's space,
Mhm.
and that led to a conversation with me and him. And he was like, "Yeah, we don't do our rites of passage to manhood as a mature man till you're 40 years old."
Wow.
So
Mm.
Great.
he said all the men go through it. I'm like, well, ding, ding, ding. That this is foreign to me. So why? And he said physically you mature, and mentally you mature at 25, but he said spiritually you don't mature until you're 40.
Okay. Okay.
So he said a man can't fully walk into his true calling until he spiritually matures. And that's at like 40 years old. And they didn't see age the same way we see age. They saw 40 as now you just getting started and now you're about to live your best life.
Wow.
Whereas in the West, we see 40 like, oh, you old, and
You should have
now
done
you
figured
kind of an
out.
OG, like you
Yeah.
unk. And
Yeah.
it's like, and so it's like, it's crazy. Like we put these narrative and projections on people about ages and stages and about topics, and we get
Mm-hmm.
trapped in them to Jose, to your point earlier about we be a punching bag, not just in a relationship, but in society. They demonize you having multiple moms and children, or they demonize whatever, and you just take hits and you end up like not knowing your self-worth. Going back to that statement you made earlier where he was like, yeah, like at 40, he's like, nah, I'm getting to walk into my greatest aspect of my life. And it's like, wow, perspective on
Yeah.
who you are and your own worth is everything.
Yeah, no, that's good. I think, I mean, for real, it's like you gotta go through the bruises before, you know what I'm saying, you get enlightenment,
Yeah.
right? So
Mm,
and I say it like this: I didn't have the discipline, but I wasn't out there wild. Let me make
mm.
sure we clear.
Right.
I was taught to be the gentleman. I was taught to be the one who was charismatic. I'm gonna be honest with you. As I was coming up, being a dark skinned dude, we wasn't in style,
Mm.
right? So I remember anytime I
Y'all
got
came in hard in the 90s, though. In the 90s, y'all came in
Hey, we
hard.
came in. But I promise you, coming up, bro, I never forget, I used to work so hard as far as on my personality. I would back in the day like write down questions to ask young ladies. So when I got an opportunity to be on the phone with them, oh, you would think I was the best person because again, you don't get the reps in. So when I got
Mm,
the opportunity for the reps, I was working on personality, working on personality. So then I guess my personality went to a crazy level, and maybe the looks came into a different play, and I got to a point where I just wasn't saying no, but I wasn't out there hunting as well.
Right.
mm,
So again, it wasn't like this boy out here wilding, trying to sow his
That's
roll of oats.
everything.
It was literally to the point where I just wasn't saying no,
Yeah.
which to a certain extent is still the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
Because again, remember I was saying I was blocking on tour because again, it took everything that I had and multiplied it times 1,000, and it's a
Sure.
different world out there.
it
But at the
is.
same time, it was still hard for me to say no. You know what I'm saying? So, and I got to the point where it's like, all right, you recognize as far as your value. I'll be even honest with you. I had to a point where I thought my value was in my meat.
Mm,
I had got to the point, even coming from my previous marriage, um, the only time that I was the king of my own house was in the bedroom. Like,
wow.
hey, soon as you hit that thing, it's back to normal. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
So I found my power in that. I found my power in making sure I gave pleasure to women. That was my badge of honor. You know what I'm saying? Um,
wow.
yeah, that's
Now
something
that's
that can
real,
go
bro.
on.
Yo,
That's real.
you have me tripping because I'm half century, right? I don't like to tell people I'm half century. You may not know I'm half century, but I'm half century, right? And so
Hmm.
even that vibe, just the tip you was just on just now about in your bedroom, like when you're 20 and 30, you know, you could just be frank. Yes, you could slay some things. You feel what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And it's like the
Hmm.
Mm,
reality, the biology of a man after 25 and testosterone levels and all of that stuff kicks in. Sometimes that forces you in a space to just evaluate your worth on a different level. Because
Hmm.
mm,
we tell, factually, stuff starts slowing down. When you get to your 40s, when you get into your 50s, like, you start to look at things a little different. The guy who was at
Hold
20.
up, Chizzy. Hold on, wait, Chizzy. See, that's what I'm saying. Look, my lady wanted me to get a vasectomy, and I
Okay.
was scared because I have a superpower to this day.
Okay, 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 okay. Okay, okay, okay,
Bro,
okay,
I feel like I'm
we
21.
okay,
we
Yeah,
about
okay.
bad, bro.
we
But go
about
ahead.
we about to have an endorsement for AARP, and like this gonna be brought to you by we about to we cater to the whole demographic of man right here. Like, look, 20 to 60, we got you here on the Boy
Yeah,
Man
yeah,
Cave
yeah.
Pod. Go
Right.
ahead, Chizzy.
Yeah, but no, but my only point is that, biology for a lot of men takes its course.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? When you get a
Mm,
particular age, and that forces you, similar to what we was talking about when you're 40, you start to evaluate how you show up emotionally and being your maturity level is
mm,
different. So you can no longer approach a relationship situation where you're like, yeah, I'm king in the bedroom. Like that's gonna lock him in. That's
Mm-hmm.
gonna keep him down. It's got to be more to the conversation. It has
Yeah.
to be more to the rapport. It has to be more to the relationship space. Crump, yeah, this is outside of your purview because y'all are married man. So in this single life, in this single game, things look very different when you're 40 plus, trying to date, trying to find a queen. I've had a failed marriage, so I know what that's like. The dating game is
Yeah.
crazy. So there are so many different variables as a 40-year-old man, 40 plus year old man that you have to consider that you didn't have to consider when you're 20 and 30. More, when you're younger, or you care about if she's
Mm-hmm.
pretty and if you could hold it down. You feel what I'm saying? But when you get older, your value system changes, and your legacy starts to change. You know how to look at you start if you have older kids, you want to know that your kids look at you in a way so that you're able to translate your choices as a 40-year-old man into stuff that they will now attribute to their own lives as time progresses. You know what I mean? So, your things start to shift when you get to a certain maturation, into your 40s, going into your 50s.
so since you put it out there, Chizzy, acquiring minds want to know. Acquiring minds want to know this dating scene of the
Mhm,
IG era for
mhm,
the men 40 and up. How are things? we want Jose. He know he got an
Yeah,
announcement. He's smiling different. He's shining differently. You see,
yeah,
he put the light over his head like he beaming. So we know what you are. But before that, right?
yeah.
Before that, like just talk about as men in real time, mature men over 40. You know what I mean? Who know who they are, know what they want, but talk about this courting season, this courting phase, finding this partner, finding this friend, finding a significant other, what it has been like for both of you. Chizzy, I'll throw it to you now. I take it back to Jose.
It's difficult in a lot of areas, because I like to believe that I'm still got it. You know what I'm saying? I train every day. I take care of my body. I take care of my mind. I take care of my spirit. You know what I mean? So it's hard to really. You want to find a partner that gives you what you need in a lot of spaces. And truth be told, as a 50-year-old man, I'm just gonna be real. It's hard for me to now want to find a 50-year-old woman that's similar to me. This is just my experience. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about a woman who has kids. You're talking about a woman who has had some emotional baggage, unaddressed traumas. That's harder to navigate in this particular dating space now. And then, of course, the access on social media and dating apps that women have, it's very difficult to find and build a genuine connection with anybody because you're swiping every day. You got thousands and thousands and thousands of options. What is it about me that's going to stand out so that we could take it to a conversation that could nurture into a relationship? So that component alone is challenging. You know what I mean? If you're on the dating app scene, like, the catfishing, the filters, all of these things are variables that you got to think about as a man, 40-year-old trying to date. Guys ain't using, I'm not using filters, but guys ain't using filters like that. So what you see is what
I
you
was
get.
making sure you wasn't Chizzy. I know the females been using filters. I was just making sure you wasn't still using filters. I didn't know. We didn't talk on that level yet, Jose. But I was just like, I hope you ain't out there using filters, my
Nah,
guy.
nah, nah, nah.
You know what I'm saying?
Guys don't essentially use filters. But again, my point is, it's challenging because people present, and in social media, everybody's living their best life. Everybody looks amazing. Everybody's on vacation in the best places. Everybody's got a lot of money. Everybody's got a lot of everything. And we obviously know that that's not the case. So how do you distinguish between the fake and the real in a place where access is given to thousands and thousands and thousands of men and thousands of women? And then obviously we're not even talk about you know how gender and sexuality is sliced up in so many different ways nowadays. When you're non-binary, you got all these other variables that you have to consider in this world, man. So it's rough. In
Mm.
summary, it's rough. I'll throw it to you, Jose. I know I'm not the only one out here on this island tripping.
Look, here's the crazy part. I moved to Atlanta in 21 during COVID.
Mm,
And the reason why I moved out here, truly, number one is that it was open. Like in DC area, we was closed, masked up. Like don't go outside. Out here, they was partying, and most of my
Mm.
clients was out here. So I came out here. I'm gonna be honest with you, because I focused on me.
mm.
As far as dating out here has been pretty daggone easy.
Okay.
I say it like this. Shout out for my dudes. Like I never did the app thing. I always tell dudes, don't go to the strip club, don't go to the mall, don't go to the church to find your wife. You know where you go? You need to hang out at the beauty supply store.
I know
Yo,
he's gonna say
they be out there
university
at
and
the
stuff.
beauty.
Content. This is exclusively dropped on the Boy Man King podcast, man. First time. This is some chill. This is some chill.
Hey,
Come
go
on.
to the beauty supply store
Okay.
and say, you know what? I want to take care of that wig you got today or that pink luster curl. I don't know what they be buying,
Yeah.
but you want to say, you know what? I want to treat
Bruh. Bruh.
because they be out there,
Yeah.
all types of the women. They're out there.
Yeah.
I'm joking, but I'm serious.
Right. No doubt.
But now, in regards to the dating scene, like it really got to the point where I was doing a lot of counseling as far as for couples. I was doing a lot of counseling one-on-ones and mentorships, and I found out like really the thing about it, people are so they have high levels of narcissistic tendencies,
Yeah.
and it's all about me, 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 me,
Yeah.
me. similar to Chiz, we was talking about as far as on social media. It's like, oh, I'm gonna show the best, I'm gonna do the best, I'm only showing you, but nobody is showing the flaws, or nobody is actually showing that thing out front. I'm one of those ones when I'm meeting somebody, I'm like, hey, let me tell you what it is. I call it the glue, right? And so if you want to stick with me on that, we good.
Yeah.
I'm not going to show you to put the mask on off of the break. And here's the crazy part: the same thing that you see me on social media, the same thoughts on there, is the same person you're gonna get in real life. I'm big on self-awareness.
Yeah.
That where I show up at a business meeting, where I show up at church, where I show up on a podcast, whether I show up as far as at my shows, I'm virtually the same person. You're gonna see what you get. And that worked out very well as far as in the dating space. And then, I mean, if we being real, I mean, 5'9", so I'm extra regular as far as with the height.
What's the extra regular?
You know what I'm saying? Mid to high sevens as far as credit score.
Yeah.
Got a little bit of, what I'm saying, money. I was like, I mean, we kind of doing something out here,
Right.
right? So I worked hard as far as to get to this space, and I'm not going to let just any old person come into my circumference. You know what I'm saying? So it's been a good run, but also, again, in the space that I'm in right now, I was telling the gentleman yesterday, it's like I'm doing 75 hard for the second time. I said, what happens is I'm worried about the consistency. I'm worried about the behaviors and not truly the goal. The goal is to complete it, but the goal also, or a byproduct is when I look better naked. The byproduct is I have a high level of confidence. The byproduct is I'm showing up in other spaces with that same discipline.
Yeah.
But discipline requires sacrifice, and sacrifice has to hurt. And then the results will come from that.
For sure.
A lot of times we're on this, forget microwave, we're in the air fryer society where we want this thing right now. Nah, bro, are you willing to put forth as far as that sacrifice, that level of discipline where it's going to hurt, and it shows up in 90 days? I told my guy yesterday, I didn't know my lady was going to come. The funny part is, it was at a next level speaker event that I invited her to that sparked it off.
Okay.
Come on. Shout out to
And the
next
crazy
level.
part, let me tell you this, I had invited my ex, who we were still doing. I invited another shorty I was talking to, and I invited my lady who I'm with now.
Okay.
I always say Drake was actually like the author of, or he actually narrated my life. He said my ex-girl chilling with my next girl chilling with the girl that I'm right now. I was like, this boy, and I had them all at the same table. Bruh, it was crazy at the next level event. But again, I was in a free space. Again, telling what it is, putting it all on the table.
Yeah.
Something said, that's the one. One in them green pants looking right. I remember green pants like it was yesterday.
Come on, green pants. That's why he changed the backdrop. You see, he changed the
Oh,
backdrop
the
to
green.
green.
Yeah.
Well,
Green.
he was gonna talk about her. He was like, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go ahead and switch the backdrop for this, bro, because we gotta make sure it hits at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So what it was about, okay, you really know yourself, and I give it back to you, Chizzy, because I know he just, he done found him a sweet spot right now. He trying to keep it on the low ski, but a birdie put it in my, he got a little, you know what I'm saying? So what is about the women? You got all three. Obviously you're interested. Obviously there's some chemistry. You keep it a buck about who you are, about what you're doing. What was it about her that was like, she good for me? What is about? I'll give it to you, Jose, first because you brought it up. You had, a relationship with all three, but it was something about her and how she carried herself and what she responded to you in a way that was like, I want to move forward with her. And then I'll give it back to you as well, Chizzy.
Yeah. I think it's more of for her, one, again, she knew all of the flaws and all. Again, we were friends for 2 to 3 years before. I told her everything. Like there was no holding back. Then also it's almost like the yin and yang where it's like, all right, I'm going to compliment and then you're going to compliment certain areas that like one thing about me, I'm big on forgiveness, grace, and mercy. She gonna hate that I say that, but she ain't.
Come on,
But
bump
that's
that.
facts too. The compliment is important.
Right. But the thing she say daily is that you're teaching me how to be more of this. For me, I don't have a structured bone in my body. I'm like, hey, let's go, let's create till the wheels fall off. Let's make this thing, let's blow this thing up. I don't have structure. Unless I'm creating an actual outline for a course, that's it. That's all you're gonna get as far as for structure from me. I hate emails, right?
Mm.
But at the same time, she's teaching me the structure. So again, that yin and that yang. And then a lot of times, again, remember when we already on our path, I always say a lot of times when we're on our journey, we bump into our purpose.
Yeah.
Like
Mm.
I never knew if it was 5 years ago, I would never known that it would have been, you know what I'm saying? Like, and my prayer every day is, God, your perfect will be done. Meaning that whatever happens, I gotta trust in this space. And I never knew if it was 5 years ago we'd be here. I never knew if it was 2 years ago we would be here. You know what I'm saying? But I had trust in my walk, and then I'm bumping into my purpose. And now I'm just like, this is the best thing that ever happened to me.
Yeah.
Mm.
Best thing that ever happened to me. But also, and this is the last part.
Yeah.
Again, I had to be intentional. Prior to that, I had went on my homegirl Tiffany Montgomery had did a marriage fast, and I kind of went on that. Um, and it was like, all right, I'm gonna be intentional as far as with this walk. I'm being intentional as far as my prayers. I'm gonna be intentional with the man that I'm going to be. And then that's when it opened up, and I was like, all right, I'm here.
Add that spiritual element in there. Come on. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
Chizzy.
oh yeah.
Yeah, I like the direction you took it, Jose, because like I found that my experience in this particular space in my life, because I've been zeroing in on my faith, on my relationship with God and Christ, I find like things are just falling into place. And we're not talking about perfection. We're not talking about,
Mm-hmm.
we're talking about just alignment. You know what I'm saying? And I think I feel like now I'm more aligned than I've ever been in my life at 50 years old. You know what I'm saying? Um, and so when her and I met, it was just like a confirmation because I know what I prayed for, and God has
Mm.
been demonstrating my consistency through answering certain prayers from not from a 911 perspective. I say that all the time, but from a 411 perspective in terms of, all right, this is my commitment to my faith. And
Mm-hmm.
God obviously knows our hearts, and He's gonna give you the
Mm.
desires of your heart. If you make a commitment day in and day out to your walk into your faith. And so that's how I knew. And also because I have functioned so much in a helping space, I do it in my career, I do it here, I do it in a lot of areas of my life. It was difficult for me to receive support. It's difficult for me for somebody to be like, I got you. You just relax. This is a safe space. This is your soft place to land. And when I pray for a soft place to land, that's the thing that resonated with me most. Because if you're in helping services, you kind of get into a space where fixing and supporting and altruism is part of who you are. And for me, it was difficult to just chill and be like, and receive support from a female in particular, just given the experiences that I had in past relationship. So a soft place to land is a soft place to land. So that gives me comfort at the space that I'm in my life. And so that's how I knew it was God and God centered, and that it was time, because I was okay with allowing her to be my sole place to land, because I wouldn't be that place. I always feel like I have to be the one doing everything and trying to make sure she's good and trying to do this and trying to do that. Sort of overcompensating in that way.
Mm.
Where this time around it just feels like, because I'm spiritually grounded more, that it's okay for me to kind of come says with her, just receive your blessings. Like, it's okay to receive your blessings, receive things. You know what I mean? So that's kind of for me the space that I'm in, and it just feels different. It just feels refreshing, and service for me now in this space is not laborious. Like, it's something that I want to do. Like, I want to do it. I want to serve. I want to, because it makes me happy, because I know it's reciprocated. You know what I mean? As opposed to it being one-sided. So that's kind of my small little take on it. So congratulations, bruh.
Yeah, so I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad y'all glowing, and I think important two things to take away from the men is that you kind of slipped it in there, Jose, but you fasted before,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden this lines up that you fasted for your marriage. and the woman that was not just in a relationship, but the woman that's for your marriage, end up getting your attention more in that spirit, boy. And I think for Chizzy, because I know you, all of this posturing and performing energy that we try to do in our courting, it's like that's not the answer. So you being whole as a man,
Yeah.
making sure that, Jose, you were saying at the gate, I'm being honest. I was being honest and upfront.
From the
I took
beginning.
the mask off from Jump Street, but a lot of men try to perform and posture. I got you and all of that. It's like if you could be healthy as a man, if you could be spiritually locked in as a man, you can see the person that naturally fits. It does. There's not a lot of work in it. It just flows like to your words, Jose, yin and yang. Chizzy, there's a soft place to land for me. Emotionally, going back to, I love what you said, Jose, and I'm definitely taking it that we provide, and I don't want to misquote you, but we provide, protection and provision, physically, right? As far as the well-being, the security, our residents, food, shelter, nobody harming you physically. But women provide, and I think this is kind of what happened with both of you when selecting your partner.
Yeah.
They provided provision and protection for you emotionally.
Fact. Fact.
And I want to kind of go back to that because that is something that I think gets missed. Where it's like, as a man, and I don't think it's been articulated enough for men because this is the first time I even heard somebody say it the way that you said it, Jose, that the woman I select provides protection and
Safety.
provision for me
Yeah.
emotionally, man. Yes.
Huge.
So talk about that.
Like, think about it. So this is one of my core tenements, right? I always say, I don't want you to shoot me with the same bullets that I just put on the table.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
If I put my problems on the table, I don't need you to load them up in the gun, and then you're
That's what
gonna
I'm
have them in the clip, and then as soon as we get in an argument, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I don't need that.
Yeah.
Like, that's why most men feel like we're in a space where we're not protected and provided for emotionally, because when I do get vulnerable, you're going to use it against me. When I do get into a space, you're going to use it in an argument. When I do, you try to one up me. Nah. Why? I've had it before. I was in a marriage for 7 years. And again, I fought through it. That's the biggest thing. They say, men, we will sacrifice our happiness for our family. And they said some women would sacrifice their family for their happiness.
Mm-hmm.
I myself was in a space where I was sacrificing my happiness because we have to hold up my family. But emotionally, I wasn't there. Emotionally, I was broken down. Emotionally, I ain't feel like the king of my household except for in the bedroom. Emotionally, I wasn't there. Like, every time there was an argument, she brought up as far as the things that I was like, dang, I should have just told my therapist and kept it a secret from you.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So now that I found that, where it's like, wow, this is amazing. I'll be honest with you. Sometimes I would just cry because I'm like, yo, I've never had this before.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to accept this gift.
Yeah.
Right? I don't even feel like I'm worthy of
I was
this
gonna
gift.
say that you feel like am I worthy of this? Like the
Right.
imposter, like you feel like because like you said, normal is the opposite. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely can relate to what you're saying in that space. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, bro.
Oh no. That's good. We have the conversation.
Yeah.
I'm big into it because you're questioning like, yo, am I worthy of this?
Yeah.
Did I deserve it? Did I? You know what I'm saying? So
Wow.
it got to a place where I could be truly vulnerable with everything.
Yeah.
Bruh, we talked about it. I proposed to her as of the first of this month in
Yeah.
front of 400.
Come
You know what I'm
on.
saying?
That's what's up.
Right on stage, did a little baby performance.
Come
You know
on,
what I'm
baby
saying?
performance. You know what I'm saying?
Baby performance.
Come on, you know what I'm saying? Bring back his background. That's his resume. Come on, resume. You know what I'm saying? They forgot. You gotta remind them sometimes. You gotta remind them sometimes.
Because at first I was trying to figure out what's the best way to do it, surprise her and everything like that. But the reason is, even after the proposal, one of the things she would say, hey, you know what? We opening up all the books, all the financials, the whole everything, the thought processes, the mindset, and the crazy part, we went on a trip right afterwards, and I was able to unload even things that I haven't told her, and it was just like, wow, I don't know what did I do to deserve
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. I know that.
This was certain stuff that I was hiding. You know what I'm saying? Hiding from the ex-wife, certain stuff that I was hiding from different situations and relationships, and now I'm able to just put it on the table, and you just like, all right, bet. Let's work through this together. Matter of fact, let me show you my superpower to be able to fix and to be able to maintain and be able to multiply what we got going on here. I said, bet, run it. Let's go.
That's it.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And it's a beautiful thing. Um, I've always been in the space because my lady is known definitely in our industry.
Mm.
I've been in this space for getting quote unquote the harder to get ones or the ones like, hey, if she happy, something must be that boy must be doing something
Something.
right. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
ever seen the dude with the bad chick and you like he don't look like he must got some money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
How
saying?
he
So I
get?
know
How he
for me they
get?
probably got some good, you know what I'm saying? Good or nah, for real. I study. I posted yesterday. She said she my favorite subject. Study. I have notes. I have books that I'm still writing down certain things that how she likes certain things and how she wants to be treated in the space and where she want to go. What is she allergic to? This, that, the third.
Yeah.
Because she's doing the exact same thing for me,
Yeah. The
which I
reciprocity
never
is
had.
definitely higher, man. The reciprocity
Definitely.
is the biggest part for me. Because, like, like I said, we can get into fixing, providing, protecting, all of those things. Um, and women are cool to take, people are cool to take it. It's turning around and giving it back. Even tenfold or multiplying it is really, really what drives me. Um, and, the humility component, when you deal with a beautiful woman inside and out, a lot of, as we know, a lot of beautiful women, the beauty, what they say, what beauty's in the skin deep and you're peeling sort of thing. So
Mm-hmm.
when you find that prize where a woman is beautiful, physically beautiful, and then emotionally intelligent, and wants to see you in, and wants to be your helpmate, and you as a man understand, even why God puts men and women together from the beginning, she understands that it's a beautiful thing. You know what I mean? And Crumb will tell you, I'm talked about this a lot. His wondering each other for years and years and years, and it's refreshing. It's almost like I ain't really lived until you come up against somebody who can really compliment you in a way. So it can't be me.
Mm.
It's got to be God, really and truly, because it can be me. Because I'll mess it up every chance I got. I'd mess it up in the past. Not to say that they didn't have that level of responsibility for the demise of the relationship, but I will mess it up if I walk through that door. I'm gonna mess it up for sure, for sure. Ego, pride,
Mm-hmm.
bravado, all of this. I'm gonna mess it up. So that's where that humility and that consistent, spiritual gauge is important, in how we just navigate this thing back. So yeah, man. Congratulations,
Oh, hold on, Crump. I gotta set you up because I got some questions for you too. I gotta do my Jose
man.
thing.
Okay.
101.9 WBMK Boy Man King podcast in the building. I got my guy Crump. Crump, I need to know. Need to know. You need to tell me as far as marriage, brother.
Mm.
Talk to me about that. Talk to me
Yeah.
about that. That's what I want to know. I
Yeah.
came from it. You know what I'm saying? 7 years in it. Yours
Yeah.
is I believe it to be healthy. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
it
saying?
is. It is. Man,
I want to you to dig deep into that one for me real quick.
you guys said something previous that I was like, man, I think it's so important to share. Like we so traumatized as black men. I think we gotta go certain spots and certain spaces, to be honest. As black men who've been promiscuous, as black men who kind of did the 90s swag and go holler at a girl in the club, of all of us who've been through those stages, like you don't realize how neglectful or trauma or being involved and being seen or seeing too much I'll say triple X rated, content when you a minor, how that all shapes this construct about yourself and then you feel about the world. So when you guys was like, man, I didn't even know that emotional safety was an option for as a black. Let's just go there. And especially if you're dealing with a sister. In your mind, if you saw your auntie, if you saw your, what I'm saying, your cousin them, you didn't even know. So my wife provided something to me that because it was so good and because of where I was immature wise, that it made the marriage more challenging because I'm like, even when I was courting, like, oh, she up to something. She trying to play me. Like so much of that
Yeah.
that bravado had delays in our development because of my immaturity and ignorance. And then my pride, she had to wait for stages of my pride to be broken down so that we can even grow and develop in a relationship at the level that we can enjoy it now. So we're enjoying it now 20 plus years later, not because it took 20 plus years. We're enjoying it now because I took 20 plus years and being honest in who I needed to be as a man for a woman of God to help her develop her full self. I had a frank conversation with her in COVID when we was emotionally trapped for about 10 years. So we did all the social status, we did all the check the box things, but emotionally our marriage was just in a stronghold for 10 years, and it was exhausting for both of us. But I projected on her like I'm a super saver. You know what I'm saying? Like a hero's complex, like the demigod complex. I'm always hold you down. I'm always have your back. I'm always be there. And finally, in a 2 hour conversation right here in this basement, I was like, babe, I apologize. I told you I was going to always have your back. I told you I was going to always be there. And I told you I was going to always hold you down. I lied. I'm not going to always be able to do that. It's actually only one thing that you can commit, that you can depend on me. And I'm going to be committed to this marriage of trying until the day I die. And what that did for both of us, she was like, okay, women just want you to be honest. When you really get with a real woman don't really want the show. A real woman wants a genuine, authentic relationship with a real man. And they want all of you. They don't want parts of you. A woman who's out here posturing and a woman who out here performing and a woman who wants to that, they want the show. They want you to look and act a
They
certain
want the
way.
filter.
But your woman, your wife, your partner, they want all of you. They want every single aspect of you, right? So much so you be in the bed, they want to get inside your skin. Like they want to be all up in your world all the time, right? My wife was no different. But it took so much of me to grow up and to mature in my 40s to really release the beauty of our relationship, the beauty of her. And now she's walking in it. And she could have walked in it 10 years ago, but I wasn't ready to release her to walk into it 10 years ago. So I'm grateful that she stuck it out. I'm grateful that she pained it through because it wasn't hard, it wasn't easy for her. It was psychologically challenging, it was emotionally challenging, it was relationally draining. But her faith, I'm so glad that she had values, and I'm so glad that she had fortitude, because it takes two to get to this point. And so
Yep.
I am a byproduct and a witness of a partner that stuck it through the hard crap just as much as I went through my frustrations and hard crap, but also I had to go through my immaturity. I had to go through my insecurities. I had to go through my pride and my narratives. And I had to do the work on me so that I could come to her in a way that can free her from all the things that I trapped her in the relationship psychologically, emotionally, and narratives so that she could blossom into. So all the stuff she's doing now, she's put the work in with her and God, all this
Mhm.
rebranding herself and content and woman of God and mentor.
Mhm.
That was there 20 years ago. I wasn't the man that needed to be in her life to release it for the world to see it and to benefit. And so, man, I'm so grateful. To Chidi's point, I'm humbled because I understand free will more than ever. I understand that everybody's making a choice in this matter, and I understand that God's grace is even allowing us to have a space. And so it's beautiful because we made it to the other side from my individuality to our unity.
Yeah.
So we
Thank
had
you.
we had a union, but we wasn't in unity together. So now it's like we don't went past the individual efforts of trying to work it out, and now we on the other side where it's in unity, where compromise is not a challenge, where consideration is not an issue, where listening is not a struggle. Whereas before it was like we hit the scorecard ministry. You know what I'm saying? Okay, that what you on? That what you on? That what you gonna say? All right, bet.
Right.
I told people I had a long season of being a petty priest before I walked into being a royal king. And so for me, it was just really making a conscious choice to not be on me, myself, and I when none of that is conducive for building we, us, and together. And so yeah, man, that's what I got.
But look, you cooking, and I need both of y'all to
Right.
answer this one. Look, I just flipped the tables on y'all.
Yeah.
This, whether it's this quarter, whether it's this year, this half a year, what was the biggest self-reflection aha moment that stood out? Cheers, you start first.
That I was the problem.
Mm,
I was the problem, no matter, because you could push it on everyone else and say that was them, it was them. But what I heard, and even what Crump was saying, is that because this amazing thing about women, and we're talking, I'm going to talk within the context of the conversation we're having as it relates to relationships and women, right? Once I started to understand that God's helpmate to me is equipped with so much that I don't have the capacity for, I realized, to Crump's point, I had to really recognize that I was the one holding my own self back from being able to use those auxiliary skills in a woman, period. You know what I'm saying? Because the Bible says, "He who finds a wife finds a good thing." It don't say a woman who finds a husband finds a good thing. So I have to
mm-hmm.
look at that intentionality behind that scripture and say, she is the prize. She is the asset we need. She, a godly woman, let's be clear, a godly woman is the ultimate objective. It's the ultimate achievement for a man to come into his kingship. And I'm 50 years old, just getting into this mindset. So me recognizing that I was the one holding myself back, that was my aha moment. Hopefully that answers your question. And so I continue to
Nah,
just
good.
reflect and prick my own conscience and hold my own self accountable so I know I'm not messing up every time I walk through the door. Because we do that.
Chris.
My has been a season, bro. It's not been a quarter, it's been a season, and God continues to reveal it. It's gratitude. And when I say gratitude, I'm grateful for his grace, his mercy, and his son. Because it blows my mind how corruptible my flesh is. Like I would think that if I got, this achievement and that award at this age and this stage of my children, I would be beyond, I would be past my flesh. Now I realize no matter where I go, I take my flesh with me, and at any moment this thing could sabotage everything. And if it wasn't, Jose, if it wasn't, not my degree, not my talent, not my ability, not my works, I work so hard. If it wasn't for God's grace and mercy and favor and redemption blood over my life, I would not be here. I would be so exposed. I would be so ridiculed. But I'm a living witness of God's grace, of His mercy, and I used to be vindictive and authoritative in an idealistic way, early in my leadership, early in my manhood. But when I tell you I have grown to be so compassionate, I have grown my empathetic muscle, in a way, because I'm like, yo, you couldn't tell me that I still be struggling with certain things in my 40s, or my flesh will have me dealing with something, or I make a mistake. I'm realizing I know that's stupid. Why would I do that?
Mm-hmm.
And to see my wife, give me a second chance, to see God give me 100 chances.
Yeah.
uh, I'm just I'm in a place of gratitude, because I know all that I have and all that I am is because God's allowing it to be. And I'm like, um I'm blown away that he trusts me with what he trusts me with his daughter, with his sons and daughters all over the world to mentor. And I'm like, I know deep down my battles, I know deep down my struggles, I know deep down my fights, and I'm like, man, you still, this, in spite of that,
Yeah.
man. And then we're at an age of stage too, bro. It's like people getting sick and people are losing their life and people are, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, yo, God, like, you still got me here pushing through. Like, I am truly, truly, truly grateful, bro.
I had got to a space where, just to go back a little bit, again, 5 kids, 4 different women. My youngest um, actually passed away from cancer at 5 years old. Now, the wild part is that her mom was actually married when we got together. And I would lie to this dude. I would say, "Oh, we just friends." She was sending me stuff, and I just was like, "Nah, bro. I'm just giving her insight and everything like that." But I say that to say, I found out as we go further that she had cancer through the grapevine and things of that nature because she had kind of took her out of my life.
Yeah.
But the man who's supposed to hate me more than any person on earth had allowed me to see my daughter twice before she passed. I've been fighting the fact that I did so wrong. I hurt this man so much. I believe that the sins of the father, the reasons why my daughter is probably not here now, is because of my actions, right? And
Mm.
so what I found, just to get back to the question, was even in this season, I'm overly forgiving to the point where if you do me wrong, I feel like I have to overdo it for you.
Yeah.
So, Crump, just say you did something wrong to me, this, that, the third. You know what? I have to now over deliver in your life just so, and here's the selfish part of it. I over deliver in your life so you could feel guilty about doing me wrong. And it has stemmed in relationships. It had stemmed as far as one of my kids' moms. It had stemmed in business relationships.
Mm.
Like, you did me wrong. I was literally to the point where shoot, if I had $1 million to give you, I'm gonna give you $1 million just so you could feel bad about what you did behind closed doors, and I would never let you know what you did to me.
Right.
You would know. And I had to realize that, like this season, kid, I'm 44 now. I had to realize that this season, I've been constantly fighting for my own forgiveness for what I did to
Mm.
my daughter's mom and to her husband and
Yeah.
out of wedlock and all these different things in the bed that I made and I had to lay in it. So I'm constantly fighting in that. So inadvertently, I think that because somebody do me wrong, I'm kind of, it's almost like, all right, I'm feeding the old version of me in a better way because of the guilt that I even
Right.
felt,
Yeah.
Mm,
that I still live with, that I still fight for, that I still, shoot, I got her obituary somewhere around here that I was looking at. And again, you still fighting.
mm,
That I didn't even know that I was doing that. But
mm,
they always say how you do anything is how you do everything. And I started noticing it in other aspects of business. I started noticing in relationships. I
Mm.
started, why am I doing that? And it had to take actually one of my boys to tell me another thing. It's like, bro, why are he doing that?
mm.
Like, I don't know. And we got down to it, and I was like, dog, that is crazy that I do that. So again, it goes above and beyond forgiveness. I always say forgiveness is a selfish act. Even God says it's like, yo, before I can forgive you, you must forgive.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
But the result of that forgiveness that I give is not even just forgiveness and letting it go, because I haven't let it go. It's just now I'm covering it up with
Other things.
mm.
action, covering up with different things. And that's something that I'm working through even in this season right now.
Man, that's so real. That's so
Mm.
poignant to what we say, the journey continues.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
As we wrap up, man, Jose, this has been, man, we done, this has been a journey in this episode. This
Yeah, I
episode
love it. I love it.
it's three
It's been
episodes
amazing.
in this episode. You done
Thanks.
interviewed us, Chizzy.
Thanks.
And only Jose style can he be interviewing the host. Anyway. But man, I want you guys to both close out with your final statements. Chizzy, I give it to you. And then Jose, we'll close out with you.
I just want to say, just listen to Jose reflecting on what you said, right? Fellas, yourself included, Jose, just be good to yourself. And I know sometimes, we get in this spiral of trying to evaluate the choices and guilt and all of that type stuff, right? But the only measurement, the only evaluation that we should care about is God's evaluation on us and how we show up for Him and how He shows up for us. And I just want to tell you specifically that you're free of that. You know what I'm saying? You're free of that guilt. You're free of that. And I know you know this, but I also know how habitually behaviors and things can just continue in spite of that freedom, in spite of that liberation you may feel. But I just want to tell you, to your heart and to your core, man, you're free. God loves you, and 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 you don't even have to worry anymore about any of that, because I can just see from this conversation that your heart is showing over and it's shining in everything that you've said and everything you've done, man. But I appreciate. I just want to tell you, I appreciate your vulnerability. I thank you for your presence in this space. I feel like, this could be one of many conversations. I've never been asked by anyone. I've never been interviewed in our own podcast. So I thought that was dope. So I appreciate that. And for all our viewers, listen, man, guys, be good to yourselves, man. Be good to yourself. The world will have you believe that, you should carry this load of guilt, and you don't have to carry a load of guilt. If you need to reach out, you can reach out to me, you can reach out to Crump, you can reach out to Jose. We'll put the information so that you can use us as resources, because we don't want you to suffer in silence. That's why I create this platform. And I'm just humbled to be a conduit in this particular space, man. So I appreciate that.
I always say this portion of the Boy Man King podcast is brought to you by Jesus Christ,
Yes,
the King
sir.
of Kings, Lord of Lords. Get yours.
Get you one.
Get yourself one.
Thanks.
No, what I would say is, for anybody listening to the sound of my voice, whether the replay, audio, visuals, or what have you, is to remove the excuses. Remove the excuses. We could talk about as far as the level of our faith. Maybe you need to be jumping in your Bible more. You need to be showing up at the church house more. You need to be fellowshipping more. This Thanksgiving season, whether you celebrate it or not, maybe you need to help out more. Maybe talking about in the fitness space, you need to go work out, put that drink down, right? Put that soda down, put that chicken wing down. Get into the gym, just go for a walk. A lot of times, definitely in our age, we wish we shoulda, coulda. And we always say the best time as far as to do a thing was when you first thought about it. The second best time is now. I'm going to remove as far as those excuses. Maybe we're talking about our family, that estranged parent, that cousin, that mother, that child, that significant other, that person that you know you're supposed to be reaching out to, but now you can't, for whatever reason. We're removing all the excuses, and we're doing it ugly, because we never know as far as when the next opportunity will be there. Maybe that grandma who's older, you need to go see her. Maybe make that phone call, that email, that text, that DM, that inbox. You need to do that thing today. We're removing all of the excuses. Maybe it's in our financial space, that investment, that looking at the credit card statements, and let's take off as far as some of those subscriptions, and let's do this thing so we know we're setting up. Because again, a righteous man leaves an inheritance for his children. Are we also looking at the level of freedom? Removing the excuses of freedom, where it means that you are on bondage. You might not have been sleeping good. Worry, you are stressing. You're in a space where it's like, oh, it's overwhelming, where instead of being stressed, you should be stretched. Right now, we understand that every breath that we take is a miracle. Every time we wake up is a miracle. We have a multitude of miracles, and we need to be grateful for. So in that space, we should be happy. We should be walking around proud. Today, we're removing those excuses.
Come on, man. Sound like somebody who just got engaged to the love of his life, man. Listen, that boy glowing. That boy glowing and growing. He put the green back. When he put the green back, I already knew what time it was when the green came back. Yeah, man. No green pants, boy. No green pants, man. But listen, man, we want to say on behalf of the Boy Man King podcast, Jose, man, this has been an absolute joy. Appreciate you, man. Congratulations to you again. We want to speak life to you and your whole situation, your family, your relationship, your marriage that's on its way. We want to just speak life and blessings to it as you continue to be a blessing to so many others. And as we say on the Boy Man King pod, the journey continues. Y'all be blessed. Y'all.
Peace.